My name is Erin Casey, and I'm an academic advisor in the undergraduate advising office here at Bryant. And what I'd like to talk to you today about is the Jesuit Volunteer Corps, which is an opportunity that I pursued upon my graduation from college. I attended Providence College, which is right down the road from us here at Bryant, and while at PC, I pursued a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and minored in Sociology. Upon completion of my year with the Jesuit Volunteer Corps, I then pursued a Master's in Education. I would say my inspiration for looking into volunteer work really followed after my semester abroad when I was a junior at PC. I spent a semester in Ireland, and upon seeing all the opportunities that were out there for students, I started looking into some opportunities for volunteer work internationally. And that's how I came across the Jesuit Volunteer Corps, which offers both domestic as well as international placements for their volunteers. A domestic placement would be a year commitment, and the international placements would be a 2-year commitment. So there are a variety of opportunities for students who pursue the Jesuit Volunteer Corps. If you're interested in service after college, I would say that you definitely want to look into the JVC and see if it would be a good fit for you. The foundation of the JVC is 4 tenets that all of the participants live by. So all the JVs are committed to social justice, spirituality, community living, and a simple lifestyle. So if that piques your interest, I definitely would recommend taking a look at the JVC, whether it's domestically or internationally. When you start the application process for the JVC, you would apply to a region. So I applied to the Southwest region, which covers California and Arizona, and I ended up with a placement in Southern California, in Santa Monica, right on the line with Venice. So out there, if any of you have visited that area, you'd be familiar that there are a lot of services for the homeless population in that area of our country, because there's quite a need for services for the homeless population in that area. So my position was to work in a transitional housing shelter called Turning Points, and at Turning Point I was a case advocate, and I worked with the residents who were there for up to 9 months, and ideally their time spent at Turning Point was their last step onto permanent housing. So I was a case advocate for my clients, and I worked with them to set up a plan for their time when they were residents at Turning Point, and we would work on a variety of goals. Ideally, permanent housing was the #1 goal, but some were working on attaining and maintaining employment, some were working on their mental health issues, some were working on substance abuse issues. Overall, we would set up a plan and map out that plan for the 9 months that they were there, and then I would follow them each week throughout their stay. While my position was going on at Turning Point, there are also other aspects of the Jesuit Volunteer Corps which really make up that foundation that I mentioned of the 4 tenets that the JVC is based upon. Community living was an important piece, and I had 5 other roommates. 1 who went to Providence College, 2 who went to Boston College, 1 who went to Northeastern, and 1 who went to William & Mary. So people that get involved in the JVC come from all different types of institutions and different backgrounds, and they all worked with the homeless in some sort of capacity in Southern California. I would say that my participation in the Jesuit Volunteer Corps had some significant impacts on my choice of career and also my ability to follow that career path moving forward. Definitely, when I started interviewing upon returning from the JVC, it was the first thing that I always talked about in interviews. Anyone who would sit down and say, "What is this JVC all about?" So I was able to explain to them how I came about looking into volunteer work as an opportunity after graduation, and then explain my experience. My experience as a case advocate at Turning Point was such a unique opportunity because it was the type of position that typically you would need a master's degree to pursue. But in order to staff the facility, they would have volunteers on an annual basis. So I was able to really get in there and have some responsibilities that otherwise I wouldn't have had until I completed my master's. So that did help me realize that mental health counseling, which was the direction I always thought I would go, was probably not going to be the best fit for me. I would tend to take my clients' issues home with me and think a lot about what we were working on, and I found that combining my interest with working with people and counseling issues was probably a better fit in the educational environments. So when I pursued my master's in education, I saw that working with students was a great opportunity to combine my interest with working with people and be in a helping profession. But then when it came to the mental health issues, there are other experts in that field. So it's really been a great opportunity to be here at Bryant's and to work as an academic advisor with students that are here. And sometimes students will come in and talk to me about their interest in volunteer work after college, and the JVC is the first thing that I steer them to, but it's just one of the great opportunities out there for volunteer work after college. And if you're interested in the JVC, I would definitely recommend taking a look at their website and taking a look at all of the tenets and the foundation of the Jesuit Volunteer Corps. And if it looks like something that you're interested in and you'd like to stop by and talk to me about it, I am always happy to talk about my experience and relive that year of my life.